Hello everybody, welcome back to the Justice Junction. Today we will be diving into the fascinating world of ad hoc commissions. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details, let's start with the basics. What exactly is an ad hoc commission and why does it matter? Ad hoc commission, in simple terms, is a temporary and specialized group of experts or individuals formed to address a specific immediate issue or problem. It's like assembling a dream team of experts to tackle a particular challenge head on. These commissions are not permanent bodies and they are created when there are pressing need for focused attention and expertise on a particular matter. Now, you might wonder why we need ad hoc commission. Well, the world is full of complex and interconnected problems that require diverse skills, swift actions, and innovative solutions. Traditional bureaucratic systems often struggle to respond quickly to such challenges. This is where ad hoc commissions shine. They cut through red tape, mobilize resources, and bring together experts from various fields to find unique and effective solutions. Let's start today's discussion. Commission of Inquiry into Oil for Food Scam. Commission to inquire into oil for food scam. The Commission of Inquiry into the Oil for Food Scam was established to investigate a significant corruption scandal that came to light in India. The scandal was related to the Oil for Food program, which was an initiative for the United Nations intended to allow Iraq, then under sanctions, to sell oil in exchange to humanitarian goods. The primary purpose of this commission was to inquire into the allegation of corruption, irregularities, and misconduct surrounding of the Oil for Food program. The program had become the subject of controversy due to allegation of kickbacks, illegal financial transactions, and irregularities in the distribution of contract and benefits. The Commission of Inquiry was tasked with conducting a thorough investigation, collecting evidences, interviewing witnesses, and examining financial records to determine the extent of corruption and malpractices related to the Oil for Food program. Its aim was to uncover the truth behind the allegations, identify those involved in any wrongdoing, and make recommendations for appropriate action or legal proceedings. Ultimately, the Commission's work was aimed at addressing issues of transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct of government and international programs, sought to ensure that corruption and irregularities did not undermine the integrity and effectiveness of humanitarian initiatives like the Oil for Food program. Now, we are going to discuss about Commission for Center-State Relations, Sarkaria Commission, and M.M. Poonchi Commission. The Sarkaria Commission and M.M. Poonchi Commission were two important bodies established in India to review the functioning of existing agreements and relationships between the Union and the states within the federal structure of the Indian Constitution. Their primary purpose was to examine the distribution of powers, functions, and responsibilities between the Union and state across various spheres of the governance. This commission carefully analyzed the provisions of the Constitution, the working of intergovernmental bodies, and the experiences of different states to provide recommendation on issues like financial relations, center-state conflicts, and more. M.M. Poonchi Commission, officially known as the National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution, was established in 2007. It continued the work of Sarkaria Commission by re-evaluating and re-emphasizing the principle of federalism enshrined in the Indian Constitution. The Commission focused on addressing emerging challenges and issues in the center-state relations, considering developments that had occurred since the Sarkaria Commission's report. Both commissions played vital roles in ensuring a harmonious and effective relationship between the Union and state in India's federal system. Their reports and recommendations have guided policy and constitutional amendments, fostering cooperative federalism and contributing to the evolving dynamics of the governance in India. Now we are moving towards next commission. Malimath Commission, Commission on Criminal Justice, to review criminal system and compensation to the victims. It was a significant body established in India to undertake a comprehensive review of the country's criminal justice system. The primary purpose of this commission, chaired by Justice V.S. Malimath, was to assess the functioning of the criminal system in India and make recommendations for its reforms and improvement. The Malimath Commission mandate extended to various aspects of criminal justice system, including police reforms, investigation procedures, court processes, sentencing guidelines, and the right of the accused. The commission sought to address issues such as delays in the criminal justice process, overcrowded prisons, and the protection and compensation of the victims of crime. One of the notable recommendations of the Malimath Commission was to introduce significant reforms in the Criminal Procedure Code, Evidence Act, and other related laws to make a criminal justice system more efficient and victim-centric. It emphasized for a balanced approach that safeguarded the rights of the accused while also ensuring timely justice for the victims. The work of the Malimath Commission was instrumental in highlighting the challenge within the criminal justice system and proposing measures to enhance its effectiveness, fairness, and responsiveness. While not all of its recommendations were implemented, the Commission's findings and proposals remain a valuable resources for the ongoing efforts to reform and improve India's criminal justice system. Now we are moving towards Kothari Commission. This commission, officially known as the Education Commission, was a landmark body in India established in 1964 with the primary purpose of conducting a comprehensive review of the education system in the countries and recommending educational reforms. The commission was chaired by the Dr. Daulat Singh Kothari. The Kothari Commission mandate covered a wide range of educational issues, including the structure and organization of education, curriculum development, teacher training, educational planning, and more. It aimed to address the challenges and needs of the Indian education system and make recommendations to promote quality of education for all. One of the notable recommendations of the Kothari Commission was the emphasis on universal elementary education and the establishment of a common school system. The Commission advocated for a holistic approach to the education that would be accessible, equitable, and relevant to the needs of the nation. Additionally, the Kothari Commission highlighted the importance of vocational education, teachers' professionalism, and the promotion of Indian language and culture in the education system. Its report, often referred to as the Kothari Commission report, has profound influence on shaping educational policies and reforms in India, particularly during the subsequent decades. The Kothari Commission work laid the foundation for significant change and developments in the education system of India, and its recommendation continue to be relevant in discussion and about educational reforms and improvements in country. Now we are going to discuss Pookhan Commission. Tehelka Tapes Scandal. Pookhan Commission, officially known as the Pookhan Commission of Inquiry, was set up in India to investigate the Tehelka Tapes scandal. This scandal came to the light in early 20s and involved allegation of corruption within the Indian defense establishment. The primary purpose of the Pookhan Commission was to inquire into the allegation made in the Tehelka Tapes, which were a series of investigations. The Tehelka tapes purportedly showed high-ranking defense officials and politicians accepting bribes in exchange of defense contracts. The Pokhran Commission conducted a thorough investigation, gathering evidences, interviewing witnesses, and examining the content of Tehelka tapes. Its aim was to determine the veracity of the allegation, identify those involved, and make recommendation for appropriate action or legal proceedings. The Commission's findings and recommendations played a crucial role in addressing the issues of corruption. The main aim of the investigation is to promote transparency, accountability, and integrity of defense procurement process and government dealings. Now we are going towards next commission. First Administrative Reforms Commission, headed by Morarji Desai and Hanumantiya. The first Administrative Reforms Commission, which operated from 1966 to 1970 and was initially headed by Morarji Desai in 1966 and 1967 and later by the N. Hanumantiya 1967 to 1970, was a significant government appointed commission in India. Its primary purpose was to recommend suggestions and measures aimed at administrative reforms within the country. The commission was tasked with conducting a comprehensive review of the administrative machinery of the Indian government, with a focus on identifying areas where improvements could be made. It aimed to enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and responsiveness of the administrative apparatus. The first Administrative Reform Commission examined various aspects of public administration, including organizational structure, personnel management, financial management, and public service delivery. It sought to be modernize administrative procedures, reduce bureaucratic inefficiencies, and promote better governance. The recommendation put forth by this commission played a pivotal role in shaping administrative reforms in India during that period. They aim to streamline government functions, increase transparency, and improve the delivery of public services. The work of First Administrative Reforms Commission was instrumental in modernizing and strengthening the administrative framework of Indian government. Now we are moving towards Libraham Commission, Babri Masjid demolition case. The Libraham Commission, officially known as the Justice Libraham Ayodhya Commission of Inquiry, was a significant commission established by the Government of India to investigate the circumstances surrounding the demolition of Babri Masjid in Ayodhya on December 6, 1992. Primary purpose of this commission was to conduct a thorough inquiry into the events leading up to and following the demolition of Babri Masjid. It aimed to uncover the causes and individuals or groups responsible for the demolition, which resulted in communal violence and had far-reaching implications for India's social and political landscape. The commission, led by the Justice M.S. Libraham, examined a wide range of factors, including the role of various organizations, politicians, and law enforcement agencies in the event of leading of the demolition. This commission interviewed various witnesses, gathered evidence, and scrutinized documents related to the incident. This commission work spanned several years, and final reports submitted in 2009 provide detailed findings and recommendations regarding Babri Masjid demolition case. The report had a significant impact on public discourse and legal proceedings related to the incident. Overall, this commission investigation aimed to provide clarity and accountability. This is the sensitive issue in the Indian history. Now, we are going to discuss about J.C. Shah Commission. This commission inquired into all the excesses committed in the Indian emergency. This commission, officially known as the Justice Jagmohan Sinha Commission, was a significant government-appointed commission in India established to inquire into the excesses and human rights violation committed during the period of Indian emergency, which lasted from 1975 to 1977. The primary purpose of the J.C. Shah Commission was to investigate and document various allegations of abuse of power, suppression of civil liberties, and violation of fundamental rights that occurred during the emergency. The emergency declared by the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi saw the suspension of democratic processes, censorship of the media, arbitrary arrest, and other authoritarian measures. Justice Jagmohan Lal Sinha headed this commission, and it conducted a comprehensive inquiry into the excesses committed during the emergency. The commission sought to identify and document instances of abuse authority, including the cases of individuals who were unlawfully detained or had their right violated. The J.C. Shah Commission findings and recommendation played a crucial role in bringing to light the excesses of emergency period and holding those responsible accountable for their actions. Now we are moving towards next commission, Ranganath Mishra Commission. This commission looked into issues related to linguistic and religious minorities in India. The Ranganath Mishra Commission, officially known as the National Commission for Religious and Linguistic Minorities, was a government-appointed commission established in India to examine and address issues related to linguistic and religious minorities in the country. The primary purpose of Ranganath Mishra Commission was to assess the social, economic, and educational status of linguistic and religious minorities in India. It aimed to identify and analyze the challenges and disadvantages faced by these communities and make recommendations for their upliftment and welfare. The commission, under the leadership of Justice Ranganath Mishra, conducting a comprehensive study, collected data, and held consultation to gain insights into the condition of linguistic and religious minorities. It examined issues such as access to the education, employment opportunity, representation in government, and preservation of cultural and religious heritage. One of the notable recommendations of the Ranganath Mishra Commission was proposal for a sub-quota within the existing reservation for other backward classes for minorities, including religious minorities like Muslim and Christians. This recommendation aimed to enhance the social and economic opportunities for these disadvantaged communities. It underscored the importance of inclusivity, equal opportunities, and social justice in a diverse and pluralistic society like India. This commission played a significant role in highlighting the challenges faced by the linguistic and religious minorities in India and proposing measures to promote their social and economic development. Now, we are going to discuss about Soli Sorabji Commission. This commission talks about the police reforms. The Soli Sorabji Committee, formed in September 2005, had the important task of creating a new police act for India. This new law was needed to address the changing challenge faced by the police and the better serve the need of the people in democratic society. The committee had 6 non-official members and 4 ex-officio members, along with the full-time secretary, all working together to draft this important legislation. This goal was to make sure the police could effectively fulfill their duties while upholding democratic principles and meeting the expectation of the citizens they serve. Now we are going to discuss about Justice Verma Committee. Justice Verma Committee was 3-member committee established in India to recommend amendments to the criminal law, particularly in response of concerns related to the safety and security of women. The committee was formed in the aftermath of a highly publicized and tragic gang rape in Delhi, December 2012. The primary purpose of Justice Verma Committee was to review and suggest the changes to the existing criminal laws and procedures to enhance the safety and protection of women in India. The committee led to Justice J.S. Verma included 2 other members, Leela Seth and Gopal Subramaniam, both distinguished legal experts. 10 major law recommendations of this committee were as follows: punishment of rape, punishment of sexual offences, registering complaints and medical examination, marriage to be registered, amendments to the Code of Criminal Procedure, Bill of Rights for Women, reviews of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. police reforms, role of the judiciary, and political reforms. That's it for today. If you like my video, then give me a comment in comment box. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you. Stay tuned.